Friends, straight truth. Some people in the defensive training community are scared to death of this thing, man. This is a timer, a shot timer. And I got to be honest with you. People say, oh, that competition stuff, John, you know, when you're on a timer, that competition stuff will get you killed on the streets. Really? That's stupid. Let's talk about it.
Want to be a better defensive shooter in 2018? Join the ASP Dry Fire Challenge by joining our Facebook group and by subscribing to the Active Self-Protection Extra channel for weekly lessons on getting better with your defensive firearm.
So, of course, you see this timer, and when we see a timer, people are going to start competing. You know, that's boys in general, right? You put two guys together, and whether it's pedaling their bikes or shooting a gun or whatever the case may be, they're going to want to compete, and a lot of the ladies, too. I'm not just saying this is just a male phenomenon, though dudes like to do this a lot. And there's a discussion that, thankfully, I think is starting to die in the defensive training world about the value of competition. And I hear this all the time. Well, I don't want to do that competition because that introduces training scars, and that training scars will get you killed in a real gunfight. Really? That seems stupid to me. Because let's think about what you do in a competition environment. Let's just say, and I don't even mean necessarily like a sanctioned body competition like IDPA or USPSA or IPSC or, you know, one of those. Though I think those are all obviously valid competitions. But let's think about what we do in those. What are those folks doing? They're drawing a gun from a holster, they're getting out there, whether one-handed or two, and they are putting as many shots as they need to fast on target. Then usually running to a second place, almost always, and almost none of the competition stages are stand and deliver, though I guess sometimes they are. Getting to another place, getting two hands on the gun, driving the gun out, finding your sights, getting shots on target as you need to, going to the next place, reloading, managing ammo as you need to, and driving out and running the gun. And that's a bad thing. Now listen, in a gunfight, in a real gunfight for your life, not a competition, but a gunfight, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to draw the gun from a holster. You're going to have to hopefully get two hands on the gun. You're going to have to drive the gun out, manage the sights, and put the shots where they belong, and put them on a fairly small target. You know, you think that hand that you got right here is about your pumps here. You know, your pipes and pumps are about a fist like this. You got a lollipop size right in here, and so you're going to have to put a shot in a small target, and you're going to have to do it in a hurry because somebody's trying to kill you. That sounds like a competition. And I hear a lot from people all the time. They go, well, you know, John, competition's not gunfighting. And I agree. You know, when you're standing out there and you got the, you know, your jersey with a lot of sponsors' names on it, if you're that lucky, and you got your gun on your hip, and, you know, you got 15 magazines arranged all around you, and you know the course. All the time you see people, you know, they're walking the course or whatever and mentally preparing for where the shots are, and they're like, well, that's not the way a gunfight goes down. Well, of course not. I mean, a competition's not a gunfight, but let's be real. A gunfight is definitely a competition. A gunfight is definitely somebody's trying to kill you, and they are competing with you for that effect, and you want to stop them. So this is definitely a competition. And if they're trying to kill you, they're probably hurrying, which means you're going to have to hurry. And so having an objective measure of how fast you can do things, though again, whether it's 1.5 or 2 seconds or 1.2 or your splits or whatever, we're not going to time those in a gunfight. But what we are going to say is the faster and more accurately you can shoot a gun, the better chances you will have in that day of surviving your gunfight. And that's what a competition does. A competition prepares you by making you work hard to get accurate and fast with your firearm so that you can compete well against others who are trying to accurately and quickly shoot their firearm. And so that skill of quickly and accurately shooting a firearm under stress transfers over one-to-one. So it's a very valuable skill. So don't be scared of the timer. Embrace the timer. I mean, the timer isn't, well, the bad guy gets 1.5 seconds, so you get 1.4. No, the timer says, how are you doing against you? How are you doing today versus you last week and you last month and you last year? And where are you going to go from here? And that's not always, well, how fast are your splits, but how fast can I do a given course? And what skills am I going to work on in the interim? And you're competing there with yourself. Figure that out. And so I want to tell you a couple of times of competition in my life where that has helped me kind of assess where I am and where I need to work next, just to give you some idea of how competition can be very helpful and very beneficial to you as a defensive shooter. I'm going to give you two examples of this. Now, I'm not a huge IDPA or USPSA shooter. I just have never gotten into those particular competitions, though I actually think I might do that just as a means to push myself as a shooter in the next year or so. I have done some outlaw matches at our local club. They shoot steel. They let me shoot from appendix, so that's pretty cool. And more importantly, I've had 2 instances, or 3 in the last 8-9 months or so, where I have used competition to help me. The first of those was at the Rangemaster Instructor Reunion last November. Now, we had 51 shooters on the line, and I'm trying to be not goal focused, but process focused, okay? So we shot a course there, the Bullseye course and the Casino drill and the Rangemaster qual to see how we shot against everybody else. Now, in that qualification, on a line of 51 shooters, I came in 13th, right? So I came in right at the top third. And I was happy with that result. I was like, gosh, man, this is a highly qualified group of shooters. I feel pretty good about that. But the one place I didn't feel great was I didn't feel awesome about my Casino drill. Now, if you're wondering about the Casino drill, I'll put a link to it in the description. 6 targets, you have 3 magazines with 7 rounds in them each, so you gotta do some reloading and some target transitions. It's a pretty good drill to measure a lot of things, though you guys know that I de-emphasize the reload. So after that result and going, you know, gosh darn it, I don't really like how I did on the Casino drill there, and in particular, not really the reload so much, but in the target transitions and making sure that I got on target and moved adequately. And so I worked on that skill, not working on the Casino drill, but I've been working on getting shots on target, transitioning to another target, shots on target quickly, to another one, to another one, to another one, to another one, and running the gun and managing the sights and managing the trigger, and I've been really working on that. So fast forward to just a couple of weeks ago, on the first weekend in June, at the Rangemaster Instructor Reunion, we had 28 shooters on the line, and my results moved quite a bit up. I took 2nd place out of all of the shooters. Now I'm going to tell you, my Bullseye course was pretty close to the same. My Rangemaster Instructor was pretty close to the same, but where I made a lot of progress was on my Casino drill. And my Casino drill, I improved about 4.5 points overall, 4.5 seconds total time on my Casino drill. And that's a huge amount when you're talking about going from 21 seconds down to under 17 seconds. And so I want to get faster. I'm still not happy with where I am, but that was the difference between 13th place and 2nd place. And that competition of standing on the line with a bunch of shooters that were really high quality, guys who I really respect that are in masters and grandmaster level shooters, some of them, guys who I know can shoot the lights out and are super fast and super accurate, and going, okay, well, I'm going to make these guys beat me. My focus is going to be this time on making sure I get a good grip, driving out, seeing the sights that I need to see, and pressing the trigger straight to the rear, and then we'll just see what happens. So that stress of having a guy like Brian Hill on the side right next to me, of having guys like Tim Reedy, who's a friend of mine and can really, really shoot, and guys like John Murphy and guys like that who really can shoot. In November, Spencer Keeper shot next to me. Who Spencer can shoot, let me tell you what. That really pushed me. Another great, for instance, is at the Rangemaster TacCon in March. We shot a pistol match, and the first part of the pistol match was basically 200 points. It was 40 shots on a bottle target, and you had to perform. And if you didn't get 200, you weren't going to reach the shoot-off. Well, I did shoot 200, and 38 of us did out of about 160 guys who shot the pistol match. And so we had to shoot off from there to get to the top 16. Well, I also noticed that at TacCon, that shoot-off was what they call a 5-yard roundup, which is only 10 shots. It's at 5 yards on an NRA B8, and it's fast, man. Those targets turn. You got 2.5 seconds to the first one is a draw to 1 shot. Then it's from a low ready with 2 hands, 4 shots. Then it's drop a hand off the gun from the low ready, 3 shots strong hand only, transition the gun, 2 shots weak hand only, and each of those is only 2.5 seconds. Well, I didn't do so great. I shot a 91. I was like, man, that's not great. And it got me bounced out of the round of 38, and I didn't make the top 16. I was happy with being in the top 38, but I wasn't happy with my 5-yard roundup. One of the things that I noticed there was I was having just a little bit of a hard time, strong hand only, managing my dot. And managing, can I see what I need to see to get fast enough for 3 shots in 2.5 seconds at that kind of distance. So guess what I did? I started working on that skill, not working necessarily on the 5-yard roundup, but in my dry fire and all that, really working my strong hand only, working on really getting out there and being able to take shots and manage recoil with my dot, with a dot equipped gun, so that I could do so quickly and accurately. Well, fast forward again to Rangemaster a couple weeks ago, the instructor conference. We did the 5-yard roundup, and because of that, I was able to step to the line. Said to myself, John, just be focused on the process. Make sure that you get the gun out, see your sights, press the trigger straight to the rear, and let the results take care of themselves. And I shot 100 out of 100 on that one. So I definitely made a big step up. I think I got a little bit lucky as well, but you know, I think that shows that competition, that seeing how I did in one day against a cadre of really good shooters, then forced me to go and do some more. So guys, gals, friends, compete. Now I'm not saying, I mean, if you got a local outlaw match or an IDPA match in your town, spend the time and go do it. You got a USPSA match around, by all means, go for that. Or an outlaw match, whatever, 3-gun, 2-gun, however that works. Or, if none of that's available in your area, go grab your timer, shoot against some friends, shoot against yourself, track your progress, see what goes down, objectively measure your skills, because that shooting will actually make you better in a gunfight. And that's what the goal is right? Is to have the highest level skill that you can, so God forbid the worst day of your life happens, and you have to use your firearm to stop a deadly threat. You're able to do so as fast and as accurately as you possibly can. And I think competition will really help us do that. So let's kill the whole competition will get you killed on the streets thing. Competition's really good as a defensive shooter.